Well, it is the trial that has everybody talking, and Eric Holder's decision to bring 5 of the alleged 9/11 co-conspirators to trial here in New York City. It is a decision that he's been building on, really, since he chose to move forward with investigations, and this was a little while back, into CIA agents who interrogated some of these individuals. He is quite literally between these two actions, the CIA investigation and now bringing these folks to New York City, in many ways reshaping the prosecution of the war on terror. Lots of speculation about who may be driving these decisions. Is it President Obama, or is it the Attorney General himself, or a combination of the two? We may never know the complete answer to that question. But another big question out there is, why didn't the Bush administration push ahead with trials at Gitmo when they had the chance? Here to answer both of those questions, or give us some thoughts on them today, is Mark Thiessen. He's the former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush and Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. Good to have Mark back. And Julian Epstein is with us as well. He's a Democratic campaign consultant and former legal counsel for the full House Judiciary Committee. So Julian is well-versed in all of this, and good to have you here as well today, Julian. Welcome.
Thank you.
I want to, Julian, get into the first issue first with you, if I may. These are huge decisions when you sort of look at them in tandem. The decision to investigate the CIA, members of the CIA who interrogated the individuals that we're talking about here. So they're now under the microscope once again for the actions that they took to find out what these people knew. Then the next thing we have in the body of work by Eric Holder is the decision to bring them here to the United States to have them tried on U.S. soil, which has obviously been very controversial. What does this tell us about Eric Holder, the man, and the Attorney General?
Well, it tells us that the decisions are being made in the right place, namely the Justice Department and not the White House. I think it is appropriate to ask the question as to why the Bush administration never prosecuted Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. The Obama administration now is. The controversy has been whether or not these should be done in the civilian courts. Over 200 terrorists have been prosecuted in the civilian courts, and an enormously successful track record, only about 10 terrorists prosecuted in military tribunals. I think there is almost no chance that any of these terrorists will, in fact, be acquitted. I think it is a slam dunk that they will be convicted. And I would also point out that the Bush administration, with a lot of conservatives applauding the Bush administration on the sideline, prosecuted the 20th terrorist, Moussaoui, in a civilian court, in federal district court. So it seems the complaint seems to be a little misplaced.
Which is what some people think makes it legally a different
prosecuted
issue.
In Virginia.
Right,
he was prosecuted
exactly.
in Virginia.
But arrested on U.S. soil as well.
It doesn't really make that big a difference from a legal point of view.
All right, well, and people can differ on that topic.
People confuse it. It doesn't make that big a difference.
Go ahead, Mark. I can
this is just this is the most absurd attack on the Bush administration. For 8 years, the left-wing legal brigades fought to stop the military commission process from going on. They fought it up to the Supreme Court. It was only until in mid-2008 that the military commissions were allowed to proceed. And you know what? Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, when his military commission was authorized, he offered to plead guilty and proceed to execution. So Eric Holder has effectively rejected a guilty plea by Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and said to him, "No, Mr. Mohammed, we're going to give you that platform in New York, that stage in New York you wanted for your trial."
I want to deal with both of those things. Hold on, Julian, because we're jumping between the two topics, which is fine here, but I want to make sure that we're clear on a couple of these things. And I do think it's very interesting, Julian, and I wanted to get your take on this. Why do you think it is that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, when faced with a trial at Gitmo, said, "I plead guilty and I'd like to be promised a death penalty"? But now that he's coming here, he's not so sure if he's guilty or not. Why would that be?
Well, because I think Khalid Sheikh Mohammed wanted the martyrdom. I think he thought this would be a big badge of honor.
It sounds like he thinks he may not get it here. He might get off, I guess, is what he's thinking.
Look, there is no chance. There is no chance. You know, keep the tape on this. There is no chance that any of these terrorists will be acquitted. And when they're not acquitted, I think the conservatives who are criticizing using the civilian courts, their arguments will be entirely undermined. Their arguments have always been, you can't fight terrorism and respect the rule of law. And I think the United States here now under the Obama administration is saying, we are going to respect all the rule of law and we'll fight terrorism.
And I hope that you're right, because everybody in this country hopes that you are absolutely 100% right.
There's no doubt about it.
That these people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Mark, let me go back to you, Mark, though, because I think it is a legitimate question, okay? The Bush administration had 7 years to deal with this situation, and granted, there were a lot of legal, there's a lot of legal opposition to doing that. But there are a lot of folks in the Bush administration who are coming out now and criticizing this decision to bring these trials to New York. And it does beg the question to turn around and say, why didn't you handle this? Why wasn't KSM the first person that you put on trial down there to make sure that it happened on the turf down there?
First of all, number one, our first priority, unlike the Obama administration, was not to put KSM on trial. It was to get intelligence to stop terrorist attacks. So we questioned him. We sent him to the CIA for 5 years first.
Right.
And we got information that stopped attacks on the Library Tower in Los Angeles, our consulate in Karachi, and other places. So the delay in KSM's trial saved lives. But second of all, as I said before, the left-wing legal brigades have been fighting the military commissions to grounding them to a halt until mid-2008. We finally started the military commission trials after they were cleared by the courts. And guess what? Obama went in and suspended them. If he had not done that, then KSM right now would be waiting for execution instead of starting the whole process over again in a civilian court where he's going to have a stage for the world that he wanted. Remember the first thing KSM said when he was captured? I'll see you and I'll talk when I get to New York with my lawyer.
Yeah,
because he wanted
that.
a stage, and now he's going to get the stage courtesy of Obama and Holder.
All right, Julian, just a quick one if you can.
Well, the left-wing legal brigades weren't stopping the military court system. That is a system that was well in place. The criticism on the left with respect to tribunals was fundamentally whether the habeas procedure was being properly enforced. Look, the bottom line here is that we've had 200 successful prosecutions of terrorists in the civilian system. Bush used the civilian system. This system will absolutely work. It's a message to the world that we do respect the rule of law. There is no chance these guys will be acquitted. And I think the conservative criticism about respecting the rule of law while fighting terrorism at the same time will be totally undermined when that happens.
All right, we will see. Everybody hopes that the outcome is, as you say, it will be, Julian, and we're going to watch it closely, as I know you will. Julian, thank you very much. Mark Thiessen, thanks very much. Good to see you both.
Thanks for being here.
Well, he is an ex-KGB